JDev is back at it here to give everyone another Shameless related video. As in this particular video, I'm going to be discussing what I thought of the series finale of Shameless. But before I do that, it's extremely important. If you haven't watched the entire series of Shameless, all 11 seasons to the end, I highly recommend that you don't watch this video any further to avoid any potential spoilers. So, the recording of this video right now, it's Tuesday, April 13th. I watched the series finale when it aired, first on Showtime, on April 11th. And I must say, for a series finale, I thought the episode was a huge letdown. In fact, the entire final season was a huge letdown. Even the season before that wasn't that great. It had some good moments, but ultimately it wasn't that great of a season, the last two seasons. And I'm just going to be discussing, essentially this is going to be a rant video. I'm going to be picking apart this clusterfuck that was a series finale. But you know what? There were a couple good things about the episode. I'll give that. Just a few. That's it. So, I liked the fact that, spoiler alert, Mickey tricks Ian into going to the alibi thinking that he had forgot about their anniversary, and then it turns out he did. Now, I should have caught the fact when he gave Kev the sign to, like, what time to go to the alibi, but I just kind of went over my head with that one. So that was good. That was the only part of that particular, their dynamic that I liked in the episode. And then also I liked as Frank is laying on the hospital bed and essentially about to die, his last thoughts are of his family, and they do show some people from season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4 that haven't been the show, but it's old footage. And I thought that was a little touching. Those are the only things I liked about the episode. So let's start off with the things that they had a lot of loose ends in this episode that never got tied up. Essentially, to me, it seems like a season finale versus a series finale, if you really ask me. So, is Tammy pregnant? Are Limp and Tammy going to have another baby? It's not 100% confirmed, and I think that's something that should have been confirmed. It's hinted at, but they didn't confirm it, and that really bothers me. Is Arthur tipping and possibly Carl, are they going to buy the alibi? I mean, this was a big moment in the episode of what's going to happen to the alibi, who's going to buy it. You think the final sale would go through in this particular episode. We don't even know who's going to buy it. We don't even know if Arthur Tipping, Carl's cop friend, is able to afford the alibi, and I don't think Carl has any money saved up to buy it. So, kind of a big loose end there, and I didn't like it. Now, another thing that happened in the previous episode but didn't get resolved in this episode is the baby that Tish is having. Is that possibly Carl's baby? Again, she showed up for about 10 seconds in the episode beforehand just to say she's pregnant, and she looked pregnant, and then no resolution at all whatsoever on that. Irritated the shit out of me. And then, of course, with Frank, you know, the opening of the episode wasn't actually that bad, with them all standing around Frank essentially motionless on the couch, but he's still somewhat alive, barely. And that was better than him being off somewhere else and them not having closure. But the fact of the matter is, Liam got along with Frank for the most part, and I feel bad that Liam doesn't know what happened to Frank in the end. I mean, obviously he's going to find out he's dead, but he's looking for him, and you can see that he's kind of like sad about it. And it really bothered me that Liam didn't get any closure of what happened to Frank or when Frank's finally gone. And then there was a lot of things in this season, like I mentioned, that not only loose ends, but things that they threw together that didn't make really much sense at all. Of course, Tammy and Lip possibly having another baby, and then Debbie finding another female in the episode before the series finale that she's head over heels in love with, Heidi. Crazy Heidi, by the way. Doesn't make any sense at all. It's thrown together. It's just awful writing, in my opinion. And she had the Malkovich girl, and she could have easily had a relationship with her and ended the series with that. And that I would have been great with. But this, I didn't like this. Now, if we would have got another season with this Heidi character, it's possible that I would like that. But in this particular scenario, I hated it. And then all of a sudden in the finale, Ian tells Mickey that he wants a child. Where the fuck did that come from? God, awful. And then another thing I didn't like about the show is it kind of had a cartoonish ending with Frank flying around in a chair like he's, well, Mary Poppins of sorts, but Mary Poppins didn't fly around in a chair. And the letter he wrote. Now, my biggest complaint, with the cartoonish part, but it was the letter was kind of good. I'll admit that it was okay, but he didn't mention Fiona at all in the letter. Not one bit, not one mention of Fiona. Doesn't matter if she's not around anymore. She's still one of his child or one of his kids. He should have mentioned her. Hell, he could have mentioned Sammy at one point too if he really wanted to, but he didn't. Fiona was going to hear about it. You think she'd want to hear what her deadbeat dad's last words to her were? I think so. And then my biggest gripe about this season, and I understand that this season was a different season. They had to film with probably a lot of restrictions with the coronavirus, COVID-19, and I'm sure that there's things that they wanted to do that they weren't able to do. But you know what? If that's the case, delay filming. Take as much time as you need to. If actors have other things that they want to do, postpone it a year. Do something like that. Don't give us this shit show of a season and series finale. Not one returning character. Let me rephrase that. Not one character returned that was a previous character. Fiona didn't come back other than the scenes that they showed her from earlier seasons. We didn't get a Jimmy Steve, which I didn't think he was going to come back at all other than the flashback scene. We didn't get a Sheila. Sheila's one of the biggest fan favorites, and I don't know if Joan Cusack really didn't want anything to do with the show anymore, but I'm sure you could have got somebody, even with COVID restrictions. No Mandy Malkovich came back. It would have been nice to see Mandy at least. She kind of left the show in an odd way with her boyfriend, and then she showed up one more time as an escort, a high-priced escort. You'd think Mandy would have been able to at least come back. And then there were rumors along with Sheila coming back, with Jody and Karen coming back. I mean, give us something. I mean, I was very disappointed that we didn't get one returning character. Not one. I mean, they should have had a funeral, or they should have had a very quick, viewing of Frank when he died, and that should have been a cue for Fiona to come back, or even get Emmy Rossum on a Skype call or a Zoom meeting. At least she's on the goddamn episode and not just a flashback. I mean, come on. It's ridiculous. Why even do this? This finale is just awful. I don't like it. Now, there were, like I said, there are moments that are okay, and I did like Frank's speech at the end, but it was just too cartoonish, and he doesn't mention Fiona. Season 11, to me, the best parts of Season 11 of Shameless were Kermit and Tommy. They are the best characters in the final season of Shameless. In fact, when Fiona left the show, that was pretty much it, and it was already going down before then. But Fiona left the show, Shameless, and it went downhill from them. But Kermit and Tommy, who barely have time, they just sit at the bar, the Alibi, and drink. They are the best parts of the show, at least for the final season. So, there's what I thought. Now, is this the worst series finale ever? I don't know if that's the case, because I remember True Blood being really bad, too. That might be the worst one, True Blood. But this, without making a list, this has got to be second. I didn't like this at all. I mean, this is not a review. This is just me ranting about the episode. If I had to score it, I'd give it a 3.0 out of 10. I just didn't like it. Maybe my expectations were too high, and I understand, like I mentioned, that they had limitations, but it really upset me that this is what they gave us. It's like a slap in the face to the audience with all these loose ends. I mean, hopefully, maybe not right away, but within 5 years' time, they bring everybody back for like a made-for-TV movie or something like that, and they celebrate Frank. Maybe they celebrate Frank's death every year, and they have like a 5-year reunion where everybody comes back or something like that. And I think honestly that's what we'll get at some point. With all the backlash on this episode, I don't see him ending the show on that note. So those are my thoughts on the series finale of Shameless, titled Father Frank Full of Grace. If you're a fan of Shameless and you like the show for the majority of the show's run, go ahead and smash that like button. If you know anybody that would be interested in me complaining about the show, go ahead and share the video with them. Don't forget to leave me a comment in the comment section. You can tell me anything you want about this show. Any rants that you want to make, or if you want to defend the finale, which I haven't heard anybody do yet, but if you want to defend the finale, other than the showrunner and the cast, go ahead and leave that in the comment section. And of course, last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.